All right, so you cover a lot of jersey content on your channel. Which jersey, past or present, is your personal favorite?
It's right next to me, I believe, so I'm going to grab it. If I can see it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Underrated Podcast, the podcast where we talk about random stuff and rant what we think should be ranted about. Today we have Post to Post. He is a former graphic designer, product delivery manager, social media marketing manager for Toyota, and he's owner of a photography business, which is kind of cool. And he created Post to Post beginning in 2017. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it. How you guys doing?
Not bad. Pretty interesting time right now. So we're just trying to get as much stuff out as we're a little bit of entertainment for everybody that's staying home.
It's a weird world that we live in, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
100%. It's funny that everything stopped on one day. Like every kind of sports league just blanked on one day.
Yeah, I mean, when they announced the NBA, I think that was the first league to really say, you know what, guys, we're going to stop this. When they announced that, I was laying in bed trying to go to sleep, and I got that news. I did not fall asleep till 3 a.m. I was just like, what? Is this actually happening? And then shortly after, of course, the NHL made the same decision. So it's a weird world.
Yeah, I remember I remember hearing the news and then just seeing all of the sports games. I think there were NBA games that were literally about to happen too that all of a sudden just had to stop, which was crazy.
Yeah, I think maybe it was even some ongoing when they announced it. So
yeah,
it was very strange timing.
It was interesting. It was really interesting timing. All right, so as I mentioned, you created Post to Post in 2017 to combine kind of all of your passions into one. What was it like to see your channel grow over the past 3 or 4 years?
It's been an interesting journey, that's for sure. I started out basically because I was in my early 30s at the time. I look back at my 20s and I thought, wow, I really kind of wasted the majority of my 20s. I didn't really do anything. I played a lot of video games. Not that there's anything wrong with video games. I still play video games, but I didn't really feel like I accomplished anything in my 20s. So I decided to start a YouTube channel, and I just combined two passions, which was photography in a way. My channel's not about photography, but I had all the gear. I had some mics. I had the camera. I had experience there, but I also wanted to dip into some of my hockey knowledge and more so passion versus knowledge. But it was a weird birth, and it was a struggle. I don't encourage anyone to go view my early original videos. They're pretty poor, but that was kind of the purpose of the channel as well. I've never been a good public speaker. I'm still not a public speaker. It's way easier standing in a room by myself talking to a camera than it is in front of a bunch of people. But I really wanted to become a better speaker and just kind of improve myself as a person. So that was part of it too. And it kind of just formed and kind of grew rapidly, unexpectedly. My goal, I think I said this in the second video I released on the channel, 500 subscribers after 1 year. And I think I wanted to release 365 videos, so a video every single day. And at the end of the year, I had almost 20,000 subscribers, I think, and I released over 420 videos. So I was blown away by the positive feedback and people subscribing and all that stuff. And I had the opportunity to bring friends along, my friend Justin, and even my dad, who ended up joining me full-time on the channel for quite a while. Now I've moved back to Fredericton, where I originally started the channel, and things are a little bit different now, and I had to kind of transition to a new channel because of AdSense and a bunch of, that's a long story, but it's been a wild journey, and it's cool to see people like you kind of starting off the same thing. And I'm interested to hear more about you guys too.
Was sharing your passion for hockey and all the hockey knowledge you had always been something that you've wanted to do, but you never found out a way how to?
Yeah, in a way. I think like we all have hockey conversations, whether it's at work or school. We're talking around the water cooler, that classic saying. And for me, that's exactly what it was. I would go to work. I had the people or my coworkers that I would talk hockey with, the fellow hockey fans, and I'd have my friends on the side having those hockey conversations. And, the thought kind of came into my mind, well, why don't we just film this? And that's kind of how I've always sort of approached the channel. Let's have a genuine conversation and just film it, just kind of get it out there. I make a ton of mistakes. I know that, and I'm fine with that because I'm human and I want to show that I'm human. And I don't think it's wrong to make a mistake. Like sometimes I say things that I'm not 100% sure, but I don't mind that I do that because, I'm just having a genuine conversation. I would rather do that and try and be as genuine as possible versus look at a list of facts and just read them off. That doesn't do anything for me.
I always kind of liked watching those videos as well, because it's always interesting to see like just people just turn on a camera and film a video instead of just turn on a camera and read like a script at the side of their screen or something like that, which is always the blast to watch.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I wanted to have more people on my channel as well, like my friend Justin, and then again like my father, like I said, and now Jason, who hosts my podcast. I find a conversation with someone else way more compelling, way more interesting. The dynamic is better. Standing here by myself and filming the normal videos that I do just alone, trying to have a conversation with myself, but to viewers, it's, I'm used to it now. I've done over 1,300 videos, so it's way easier than it was, but it's still not easy. I still find it difficult. So I always prefer a conversation-based video versus me just kind of standing here and doing anything.
Did you ever think the channel would grow to be as big as it is now?
No, I always had hopes that eventually it would grow pretty big. I remember looking at a site called Social Blade about 3 months into my YouTube career, and it gave future projections of what my channel could be, as far as views and subs, and gave me subscriber milestones. And I remember seeing the 3-year mark. It said 75,000 subscribers. And I think at the time I had like 4,000 subscribers. I'm like, whoa, that is awesome. Like I can't even imagine having that many subscribers. And then 3 years kind of went by and I got up over 40,000. And then now I've switched and started Post2Post Productions and just passed 18,000 the other day. So I'm on the way back to approaching above 40,000, but it's a long road, but that's kind of the purpose of it too. It's you learn as you go, you grow as you go, and you just have fun. And that's the most important part, just to have fun.
Now, here's a question. Sorry, is the road to creating a second channel always easier than the first because you have that kind of fan base, or is it the same difficulty?
It's definitely easier based on fan base, but I think it's more easier because you've already made the mistakes on the first channel. You know the process of going through and editing a video and uploading it, and you know how to keyword, and you know how to use SEO properly with search engine optimization. You know all the little details that it takes to kind of release a video and have your expectations be like, you don't want to get your hopes up too high, but you don't want to you don't want to underestimate or overestimate a video. You kind of want to be in this safe zone of estimation, and you learn a lot from the first channel. When you go into your second channel and kind of start to grow that, you have more realistic expectations, I think, and that really helped me with more Post2Post, which is now Post2Post Productions, and now the new channel, our podcast, Post2Post Podcast. Jason manages that, he runs that, and he's learned a lot too just from joining me, and it's pretty cool. It's like I said at the beginning, it's a weird world that we live in right now, but from a YouTube perspective, from a creator perspective, you guys are growing up in an awesome time, because if I had this available to me at your age, I'd be so excited. So cool to see you guys doing this.
And we talk about like growing your channel and getting those type of subscribers up. Like we're almost at 100 subs, and we got like, I think 100 views in the last video in almost 6 hours, which is crazy that we never had that happen before. But as it was growing, you were growing more revenue too, coming out of like maybe ads or like just getting paid in general. When did you think that the move to Post2Post was going to be your career? So you left or maybe not, but you left your job and started doing Post2Post as like full time.
Yeah, I guess I technically do it full time. I release a video every single day, but I do have my regular day job. It's not listed publicly online or LinkedIn or anything like that. I don't work for Toyota anymore. I work as a marketing manager for a company, and I still work as a graphic designer and stuff on the side. And I still obviously do, like I said, a video every single day. But it was my experience, or my history on YouTube isn't the typical one, because when I started my channel, I lost all monetization I think I had 123 subscribers, and I never had monetization from then up until now. It's still not enabled on the main channel. I never made a single cent from the original Post2Post channel. If you do the math as far as the views and over the years and stuff, it's over $40,000. It's a lot of money that I did not make. If I got that money, I'd be living in a house now instead of this apartment. But I don't have a typical story. But at the same time, that all also taught me a really important lesson that I was doing it for the right reasons. I was doing it because I liked it and because I was having fun, not because I was making money. Now, I am making money now on the post-to-post production channel, which was originally the more post-to-post channel. But it's still difficult. It's still, there's months where, you know, you don't really make barely anything. I couldn't even buy a jersey in a month's income. Other months, yeah, I could probably buy a jersey and be okay. So I could never do it full time unless I was probably, I don't know. I'm really cautious. So I think I'd have to probably have 300,000 or 400,000 subscribers to really, you know, let's do this full time. Because if I leave my main job, I lose all benefits. You know, like YouTube doesn't pay benefits. It doesn't cover dental and eyesight and all that stuff. So I lose all that. So it's a big risk to do YouTube full time. So for now, I will continue my basically 9 to 5, Monday to Friday job and just kind of do what I'm doing. But from your guys' perspective, starting out, there's gonna be a time when you guys release a video, whether it's a podcast, whether it's something else, and it's gonna catch fire, and you're just gonna be like, wow, this is really cool, and it's so encouraging, and that moment will happen to you. And when it does, like, just feel good about it. Like, remember that moment, because I remember that moment. For me, I think it was one of my first ranking videos, and I never started my YouTube journey just to rank random stuff and have fun, but I noticed that people liked it, and that's why I keep doing it. And you guys will find that too. You'll upload a video and it'll get a lot of views, and just cherish that moment and remember it. I'm really interested to see what kind of cool things you guys have coming in the future.
And kind of transitioning over to hockey, I know we touched on this in the beginning, obviously how crazy all the times are right now, especially for the NHL. We touched on how the NHL most likely canceled because of the NBA. It's kind of like a cycle going on. But how do you think the NHL will make a return? If they do, if they're not, and what would it look like?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I kind of flip-flop back and forth. Originally, before this season was even canceled, I really thought that it was a possibility, but I didn't think it would happen as soon as it did. And when it happened, I thought, okay, well, this is it. Like, the season's not coming back. There's no way. As time goes on, my opinion has changed a little bit. I kind of flip-flop back and forth, like I said, but I'm going to stay true with my original statement that I don't think that we're going to come back. However, I believe Gary Bettman said in the past couple of days, or maybe the past week, that he has not even considered canceling the season. So that's really encouraging for fans and for players and for everyone involved in hockey. So, I mean, I hope that happens. I hope it comes back. I know baseball is talking about starting up, and basketball is having discussions, and there's so many little complications that come with it as well. Like, there's obviously the draft, whether they go just straight to playoffs and just, you know, don't do the season, go to the playoffs. But then you also have to think of free agency as well. Free agency is usually on July 1st, and that happens after the playoffs are over. And it has to, because there's contracts on the line. You can't, if this gets extended and we're playing into August, but you still have free agency on July 1st, you're going to have technically free agents still playing hockey, potentially in the playoffs, who are signing with a new team. And I don't think you can have that. So you have to delay free agency to possibly September, and that complicates things for the players. Free agency happens in early July, so it gives the players who are signing new contracts and going to a new city time to find an apartment, time to buy a house, time to, you know, rearrange their lives and stuff. Now, if that happens in September and they start up the season in October or November, there's not a lot of time to turn around for those players. So there's so many little complications that come with starting up a season or canceling it entirely, and just moving those secondary dates like the draft and like the free agency and stuff. I still have hope, but I don't have my hopes up so far that I'm going to be disappointed if it doesn't happen. I've accepted internally that we're probably not going to see hockey this year or in 2020.
Kind of also, sorry to cut off, but just kind of going along again. There's rumors going around that there is a 24 team playoff going to go through, where just in case teams flip flop in the standings, that kind of will allow those teams to kind of have that window to enter. Do you think do you think the NHL is considering that at all, or do you think they're just going to go normal 16 team?
I think they have to consider it. I think they would be silly if they did not consider it. They have to consider all options at this point. Personally, I really like that idea, because I think the Montreal Canadiens kind of fit into that bubble of 24 teams, and the Montreal Canadiens are my favorite team. And if they went on their regular path, I mean, the Montreal Canadiens are not going to make the playoffs this year.
Oh, God, no.
So it gives me hope if they do use that system, and I hope they do. But at the same time, I kind of don't want them to do it, because if hypothetically, if Montreal did fit in the 24 and they did really good and somehow made the playoffs and went all the way, I think a lot of people would look back on that year if they won the cup. I know they're not. It's not going to happen. But if they did, people are going to look back and think that year doesn't count. Like Montreal should have never been in the playoffs. So yeah, their name's on the cup. Yeah, their name is beside 2020 Stanley Cup champions. But you know what? It doesn't count in my eyes. So I want things to be done the proper way. Even though it would be interesting to have a 24 team possible trying to get into the playoffs and stuff, I really think it should be 16 at the end of the day. Let's do it the normal way.
Do you think that would kind of fit along the same lines as like when Dallas won off that controversial goal and still people still to this day say it wasn't a goal?
Yeah, I mean, people on my channel in the comment section bring that up probably on a monthly basis. That and also I think it was the Calgary series in 2004 against Tampa.
Yes, when Martin Gelinas, yes, that puck that was just in, but they didn't count it.
Yeah, it's like those moments haunt hockey fans, and if you're on the receiving the losing side of that, it haunts you even more. So I understand that. It's never happened to me as a Canadiens fan to be in that situation where something should have happened and didn't. But I really feel for those fans of those teams.
I would count that Kreider hit in 2014 as kind of a moment, because I remember when Kreider ran right into Price, and I just thought if Price had have been in net, we would have stood a chance, and we would have potentially been there. But
yeah, that was really disappointing as a Canadiens fan. I was watching that series in that year very intensely, and I think that was statistically maybe his best year in the NHL in his career. And to see him go out like that in the playoffs, whether it was intentional by Kreider or not, it was hard to watch. Really hard to watch as a Canadiens fan.
And there's been a lot of stuff going on. Like, will players get a say? Will nobody get a say? Because a lot of players have different opinions. Like Sidney Crosby, I think, just said that he wants it to stay with the 4 games, 7 series, or not. Sorry, 4 series, 7 games. The kind of format. Will the players get a say? Maybe will Gary Bettman kind of open up his book to whoever thinks that could have maybe a good idea?
That's actually a really good question. I never thought of the players' say when it comes to that.
I think we kind of have to when it comes to the Players Association when you think about it, because they have to have a say in it in order for it to go through. Yeah, they can't just skip right over that.
There's not like a pandemic clause in all the contracts and stuff where they don't have any say. I think they should have a say. I think all players should have a say, regardless of if they're on a team that's in the playoffs or not. Like if a Washington Capitals player has an opinion that the season should continue and we should do it this format, I don't think his opinion should be any less valuable than a Dylan Larkin on a Detroit, that a team that's not going to make the playoffs. I think if they're going to do it and they're going to take input from players, it should probably be fair across the board for all teams and players.
And everybody has different opinions. Who's going to win this Stanley? Who is going to win the Stanley Cup if it doesn't continue? And going in kind of like the future, we kind of have a hypothetical, like open-minded question. Who do you think should be the next Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup?
Oh, those are tough questions, boys. I think, if you look at the playoff standings, if I remember correctly, I think Philadelphia was like 9-1 their last 10. Even like, obviously the Kings weren't going to win the cup this year, but they were on a 7-game winning streak. If I'm remembering correctly, 8-1-1, I think was their last 10 games, even though they're not going to win the Stanley Cup. Building on moments like that really sends trajectory, and you can really build on that for the next season. Now with this, it kind of takes all the momentum away. So teams like Philadelphia was on a pretty good streak, and St. Louis was playing really well too. These teams that were really on fire going into the end of the season, the last 15 games of the season, I see a lot of potential there. We think about Nashville back when they went to the finals against Pittsburgh. They came into that playoffs in 8th place and swept the Chicago Blackhawks. It was awesome. So I really think that teams that could have maybe snuck into the playoffs because they played so well, and teams that were already in the playoffs, like Vegas or like Philadelphia, who were just moving up the ranks even higher, they could do a lot of damage. And Philadelphia's a little unpredictable. I've always found that team a little unpredictable. So to pick a team to win the cup this year, I picked Boston before the season started. I'm going to stick with that prediction. If the season continues, if we get to the playoffs, I'm still going to hold on to that prediction. Boston's my pick, even though obviously I'm not a fan of Boston. I think realistically they have a really well-rounded team, and they want some revenge from last year. Moving forward to the next season or in the future for the Canadian teams, to answer your second question, not Montreal. I'm a little too critical of Montreal, so I'm not going to say them. I'd like to think it would be Winnipeg. It would be cool to see a relatively new team in the NHL, even though they're not technically new. They were in the NHL before, but they have a really interesting lineup. They don't have all the pieces. Hellebuck has kind of found his game again, so I'd like to see that continue. I'd like to see them do well. I think it'd be great for the city. Obviously, Toronto deserves the cup, but there's something going on in Toronto that's just not working. I don't know what it is. They're trying to make changes and stuff, but I don't know, guys.
I think it's the fact that Dubas signed Marner, Matthews, Tavares, Nylander, those big deals. Now he's sitting there thinking, well, crap, I have like on $10 million to work with, and it's all going to everyone across the board, and I don't have room for this, I don't have room for that. And
yeah, it's a very front loaded team financially and talent wise as well. And there's debates online, how to build a team properly. Do you do it the depth way, or do you do it the offensive way, or do you build a team around defense, kind of like the Boston Bruins did in 2011? I don't know if there's a right answer. I think maybe that changes on how the play styles and the rules change a little bit over the years to years. But I don't know. There's just something not right in Toronto. And as a Canadiens fan, I don't want them to do well, but I think their fans deserve them to do well. I'd like to see them go far.
I would say that the one kind of thing to build on nowadays has been depth. If you look at the past few Stanley Cup champions, they've been like the deepest they can possibly be. And looking at Toronto, and Toronto's like probably the shallowest team right now. They're very offensive heavy, and that's kind of not the way the league is trending in a way.
Yeah, totally. If you look at Nashville a couple of years ago, extremely deep team. I would even still consider them a pretty deep team, especially up the middle. But even Nashville is struggling. So even if you have the right recipe and the right formula, it doesn't always jive. There could be player disagreements. There could be a disagreement with the player and the coaching staff. There's so many things that we as fans and followers of the sport maybe don't get to see. So you never know, even if you do have the right formula, if it's actually going to work or not. But yeah.
All right. So you cover a lot of jersey content on your channel. Which jersey, past or present, is your personal favorite?
It's right next to me, I believe. So I'm going to grab it. If I can see it. 1 second.
It's going to be unfortunate for the people who are listening on Apple Podcasts. You can't unfortunately see this, but.
Oh, I was thinking this jersey, the Colorado alternate.
Yes, the Colorado Avalanche alternates. They've redone it. This is a Reebok version. They've redone it for Adidas.
Oh.
I don't have the Adidas version. I like the colors. So I grew up a Montreal Canadiens fan because my dad cheered for the Canadiens. He was born and raised in Montreal, and I was a big Patrick Waugh fan. And then he moved to Colorado, and I followed him. I was an Avalanche fan for like 8 or 9 years, and when he retired, I kind of went back to Montreal. But I always loved the Colorado Avalanche colors, the burgundy, that blue. It just always was so pretty. And when they brought back that jersey and kind of made that logo as a throwback to the old Colorado Rockies team, I just thought that was really special. But they kept the current new colors, and that's always been my favorite jersey since it came out. I don't know if it'll ever change. I love it, and I can't wait to actually get an Adidas version of that with a name on the back.
For me,
now, here's the question: who would you get on the back?
I think I got to go with my boy Nate McKinnon, just because I live in New Brunswick. He's from Nova Scotia. I got to support the local boy, even though it's not technically local, but I got to support him. I like to get his name on the back. How about you guys, though? What are your guys' favorite jerseys?
You can probably see it on me. If you can't, I'll just say it. It's the 2007-2008 Atlanta Thrashers jersey, and this is actually an 07-08 jersey. I somehow found it.
I am wearing my favorite jersey.
Funny enough, this jersey came with the tags on it on eBay. I was totally surprised when I got it to still find the original Phillips tag on it, which is kind of special. Also, this is the cheapest Thrashers jersey I had still found. I bought it for like $60.
Oh wow!
I've seen these go for $300 now, which is insane in my opinion.
Well, I tell you this, when I first joined the call, the first thing I noticed was that jersey that you were wearing. In my head, I was like, damn, I don't have that, but I want it.
And obviously mine's the Caps state. Like ever since the Caps came out with their stadium series, I've always wanted the jersey. I got a lot of heat for the patch I have on it on Reddit because I got a lot of heat for that. But I love the jersey. I love the Caps. So I mean, anything that involved the Caps, I'll go for any day.
Yeah, it's a really pretty jersey.
Yeah. The one thing I kind of have a jive about, it's with every jersey in the Adidas nowadays, is that they cut it off right at the shoulder. And I think if they just would have extended it, it would have looked a tiny bit better. But other than that, it's a really, really nice jersey.
Now, and the one that's similar to that as well, the white version, I love that one too.
Now, like going into jersey, I know Matthew. He just ordered a jersey. I'm gonna bring it up because I know you want to talk about it. I know you're dying to talk about it. So
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I still talk about this because I just talked about the deal I got for this one. I found that blue Centennial C jersey the Habs had for like $180. Yeah, the one with like the C and like the weird stripes on it.
Yeah,
I found that for like $180, and I still can't believe it because a lot of times I've seen those things go for like $400 and above. Which as soon as I found it, I just thought, all right, like I can't miss this.
That's a very rare jersey, and I'm jealous that you have that.
Now, is there a jersey that you maybe don't like that you're very detest about that you don't like?
I'm a big advocate for the Tampa Bay Lightning jersey the current one that needs to be changed. I think it's a little bit too close to Toronto. And you think back into the Tampa Bay Lightning jersey history, there's a lot of personality in some of their jerseys.
Black one with the white stripes at the top was gorgeous.
Yeah, and you think, they're called the Tampa Bay Lightning. Like, think of the possibilities. Think of the things you could do with the jersey. Like, let's get creative. Let's come up with something pretty cool. Now, the black one with the gradient, it's fine, but I want to see something.
I'm not a huge fan of it. That's probably the one jersey I have a jive with. It's because if you're going to do a gradient jersey, do it the way that for example, Roy Norwada of the QMJHL has an absolutely fantastic gradient jersey that they wore for a few years with like it's like a cap jersey mixed with that, and it's beautiful.
It looks like an all-star jersey. The Lightning one, it looks like an all-star jersey.
It looks like I feel like every team did that at one point, had that like black and gray gradient, and then Tampa was like, hey, we kind of like this, and then just continued pushing it.
It almost looks like a different sports jersey or something. I don't get hockey vibes from it.
Yeah.
Now, throughout your kind of like YouTube channels, not only have you covered jerseys, I have a list here, which I'm going to actually read off. I'm going to try to look at the camera, but I'm going to read off too. You've done NHL arenas, exterior and interior, NHL goal horns, rating mascots, NHL rivalries, rating goalie masks. Well, point being, you've done a lot of ranking and rating, and we've gone through MLB stadiums with a past YouTuber that we've done. But now, 2 years after you've made those NHL arena videos, are your thoughts still the same, or have they changed a little bit? Little Caesars?
Changed? My opinions have definitely changed. And when I made that goal horn video, we made that video as a joke, and people really liked it. I was so surprised. But the arena videos, those two videos are the ones that I've received the most hate for, and understandably. I'm sitting there in a basement looking at pictures of arenas that I've never been to, most of them, and ranking them based on the photos. It's a really silly process, but the entire point of the video was to be genuine and stuff, and just kind of have like a reactionary conversation to the pictures. But people took it really seriously, so I don't think I'd redo that video. However, my opinions have definitely changed since I made that video. I've been to the TD Garden, and I'm really impressed with that arena. I've been to the T-Mobile Arena, and that is an absolutely gorgeous arena, especially on the outside. I had such an amazing experience in there, so that's definitely would go way up my list. I can't even remember where I ranked it in that video. Maybe it was already high, but since that video, the Little Caesars Arena, which wasn't even created basically at the time, if I remember correctly, we're playing hockey in that arena now. So yeah, that video probably does need to be redone, but I don't really want to do it. It's not worth the hate.
And we've also seen you do kind of like hockey card videos, like unboxing. Are you a big hockey card guy too?
I used to be huge into hockey cards. Not so much anymore. I do the odd video and stuff, but I've kind of left my collection elsewhere. I don't have it with me. I have a couple cards, but I remember spending so much money on hockey cards when I was your guys' age. And, that hobby's still with me today. It's not as strong, but it's still with me. And I think back at some of the awesome pulls that I got, and my favorite was a printing plate, a metal printing plate. So they print in CMYK, which is cyan, yellow, magenta, and black, K for black. And I got a Marc-Andre Fleury yellow printing plate. There's literally only one of them. There's 3 other plates, but in different colors, and I got the yellow one. So it's not worth a lot. I think it's worth like $100, but to me, that is the most special pull that I've ever gotten. It's really, really important to me. It'll never leave my collection, and there's polls like that which really make the hobby worth it to me. It's a shame that I don't have more money and I can't open more cards, but it's a really fun process. Do you guys collect cards and stuff?
I want to. Like, I have a ton of people around me. My uncle and my dad both do it a ton, and I love it so much. Like, I have a ton in my room that I just want to go through and I want to get more and just keep growing the collection. But it's so cool to have rare cards. Like, rare jerseys are cool too. Like, I know that's your guys' kind of thing. I don't know.
I'm a huge
one of the small things that you can carry in your pocket.
Yeah.
So how many jerseys do you guys actually have each?
I think I think I have a tiny bit more than you, only because I've been more kind of into the collecting scheme. Like, I have I'm surprised I haven't got hate for having a Fanatics jersey. I have 2 of them. This was the first one I kind of pulled. I bought this because shout out to the Oshawa Generals Twitter guy, because I knew him personally, and he did not like this jersey. And I sat there it was kind of like a friendly spat between us, that like, I love this jersey and he didn't like it. And I remember kind of scrolling through eBay and I was just searching for one and I found it. And now I think I somehow found this, that I have a signed Lease Kessel jersey. I think it's the pajama jersey. I'm not sure. And I also I bought this really recently, a Coho Stars one from the same era when they won the cup.
Nice.
Except it has a CCM tag cut off on it, so I don't know. I saw the CCM tag cut off. I'm like, huh. Oh well. And right. I have the Blue Sea one in the mail, which I'm still surprised I got somehow.
That's awesome.
Oh geez, are we counting just hockey, or can we go ranging? Because I have a lot more ranging.
Oh man, bring it on.
I think my dad has. I think he said. I think I asked him yesterday or whenever we did the last interview. He has like every jersey from every MLB team, which is interesting. Wow. But the ones that I have are mostly Capitals jerseys, which is
yeah. And just real quick, because I'm gonna poke fun at that. How much exactly was the jersey you're wearing?
Well, yeah, I got these 2. This one and an Evgeny Kuznetsov away jersey with the same patch on it, and I posted them on Reddit because it's like mail day, and I got a ton of heat for it. That everybody's saying it's fake. That Reddit eventually removed it because it was quote fake, and I was supposed to put that the patch was there. Yeah. But then I have a home Braden Holtby jersey, which is my personal favorite player. I got that a while back, like went back when I played hockey, for like a Christmas kind of present for like the rest of the team. And then just a bunch of other kind of jerseys, like Canada jersey, Orioles jersey, just a ton of other stuff that isn't really notable at this point, but we're getting there.
So do you live in the Washington area, or are you just straight Caps fan?
I've been a Caps fan ever since I heard of Braden Holtby, because I was a goalie and I was like, well, it'd be really cool to have somebody in the NHL with the same name as me. It's not spelt correctly, but it's still pretty cool. And I was like, I just fell in love with the Caps ever since. And then I was filled with years of disappointment until 2018. So,
yeah. And you're probably gonna have many more afterwards.
Yeah.
For me, I've heard of this term online. I'm known as a Habsher, which is a Habs fan mixed with a Thrashers fan. It's essentially. And it's really interesting. Funny enough, I found like a bunch of people online. I remember I posted it and someone saw my profile picture on Instagram. I think it's my profile picture on Twitter too, where I essentially mushed the 2 logos together. And my grandfather was a huge Habs fan, and now I just somehow fell in love with the Thrashers. So
would you like to see them come back?
Oh, 100%. That's a very obvious question. 100%. The team is just so interesting, and it would be the marketing ploy that the NHL kind of needs now. So. Yeah. It'd be interesting to see them come back.
And they have some of the best jerseys ever, so why not?
And before 100%. We end off with the final question, I noticed that you did pull the jersey from beside you. Do you have a rack beside you with all your jerseys?
I have a rack beside me with half of my jerseys. I bought it. Let me see if I can turn this. I don't know if it'll show it or not.
There you go.
Wow. There you go.
Those are all my NHL jerseys, one for every team, so I can just easily grab one depending on the video that I'm making. And on the other side of that rack is other NHL jerseys from other teams. And then out in my hallway, I have another one of those racks with all my international jerseys, because people are so generous. They send me, I've got DEL jerseys, KHL jerseys, SHL jerseys from around Europe and all that stuff. There's an entire another rack over there. I'm super lucky to have those. But all my NHL jerseys are basically in here. And then under here, I've got my giveaway jerseys and stuff. So there's a lot of jerseys around me. which is nice.
Are you looking to expand on maybe different like leagues? So we've seen you do like SHL, and I know Matthew's a fan of the KHL for whatever reason, but are you looking to expand on those type of jerseys?
Yeah, actually, I live in Fredericton, New Brunswick, and so the league closest to me that has any kind of value or any kind of watchability is the Q. So I really like to get some Q jerseys, and I spent most of my adult life in PEI living there. So I like to get a PEI jersey or a Charlottetown Islanders jersey. I really like the Armada jersey, so I'll probably try to get one of those.
Armada, yeah.
Yeah, and maybe
I want to find
jersey.
one, but they're just so hard to find. I've browsed eBay forever.
Yep, extremely hard to find.
I saw one on Twitter, and I think it was from like a hockey jersey site I find, where they just post up on Twitter saying who wants this jersey. And I saw a Norwada jersey, and I was so close. And then immediately after, someone retweeted it saying they got it. So I'm like that close.
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
Alrighty, I think Matthew has one final question.
Oh yeah. So if covering hockey wasn't an option, what would your YouTube channel kind of be focused on?
That's actually an easy question for me because I've recently started to upload videos on that topic. So my main passion is photography, more so than hockey. So it would be doing tutorials, whether that's hands-on outside, taking photos, or editing, or reviewing people's photos, stuff like that. That's really my passion beyond hockey, more than hockey. So 100% photography, easy question or easy answer for me to give there.
All right, I think that will wrap up our episode. Thank you so much for coming on, and good luck with the rest of your channel and your podcast, all that kind of stuff.
Braden, Matt, thank you guys so much for having me. I really appreciate it, and it's cool to see what you guys are doing. Don't stop making videos.
Yeah, and make sure to follow him on Twitter and Instagram. The links will be in the description. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. And if you're out there and you see us and you want to come on the podcast, email us. The email will be below. And we thank you guys for watching.